Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of the Sam Bussell Podcast on the Ambiguous Podcast Solutions. We got another great show for you going on today. It is all about the Oscar nominations today. We're finally here. Nomination morning came and went. We finally have our finalists for the 93rd Annual Academy Awards, which will be held on April 25th on ABC. And as always, to break it all down, to give our final predictions, our early predictions, breaking down the nominees, the surprises, the snubs, is my great friend, awards connoisseur himself, Jason Abdow. Jason, great to have you on, my friend. And we finally made it to, I think, the hilltop as of right now. And it's all about rolling down from here on out. It's nomination day. Nomination day came.
I appreciate it. I went from being a prognosticator to a connoisseur.
Yeah.
Just the titles are so flattering.
I try to mix it up every time you're on, Jason. You know I do.
I appreciate it.
All right, so we're gonna dive right in. There's a lot to get into. We're gonna go through each category again, breaking down the surprises, the snubs, and everything in between there. But I think overall, Jason, I just want to get your general thoughts on what you thought of the nominations. Not getting into anything specific. I mean, for myself, I thought there were a few snubs, a few surprises, but nothing that was outlandish, nothing that was like a lot of people are comparing to Jennifer Lopez last year, where there was somebody that we thought was a sure bet that didn't get in. There were a lot of stuff that I think we were predicting that maybe wasn't going to get in. We maybe could have been getting in, and some things that, oh, maybe this person can get in and actually did get in, but nothing that was, I think, overall shocking. The people that were in contention either got in or they didn't get in. There wasn't anybody that was completely out of left field for the most part in a lot of these categories.
Yeah, it's a lot of all the things that missed were things I was personally okay to have sacrificed.
Right.
And a lot of the things that made it, I was pleasantly surprised by. I would say generally more good than bad. For the most part, it was a little predictable, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
You know, I feel like a lot of us went into this a little weary, like, who knows what crazy stuff could happen with COVID and the extended ballot. And it seems like just, they kept the timelines relatively similar besides, the dates were different, but the time between the movies coming out, the ballots, all the award shows kind of shifted to be around where they should be. I think the Globes might have helped a little bit in some areas, but also clearly didn't help in some areas, which we'll kind of get to. But overall, yeah, I think that this is a solid list. I was pleasantly surprised by a lot.
Also, I do got to give it up to it, especially in a time we're in the midst of a pandemic and everything we watched was usually at home. Some things were in theaters, or they would both migrate to theaters and on streaming, like some of the nominees that we have on this list. But the fact that we were able to get 8 pictures for Best Picture, and we were able to fill out a lot of these categories, and it seems like, again, we're satisfied for the most part, again, speaks to the volume of work that even comes out in a year where a lot of people didn't go to the theaters. We didn't have big blockbuster films that were coming out this year, but a lot of stuff that I think people notice, that people can watch or able to consume, that you don't have to risk going to the theaters for. So I think the fact that we're able to have this amount, this crop, is pretty exciting. And again, kudos to all the artists and studios and contributors for making the kind of movies that were made this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy because I haven't gone in a theater in over a year now. I think last Tuesday marked my 1 year without a theater experience. I don't think I saw any of these nominees in a movie theater, but I was able to. I've seen all but one Best Picture nominee, and that's just because it's not available in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of theaters. So,
yep.
I'm happy I was able to even see a lot of these, and so I have something to talk about. And it's also nice because now, your average Joe viewer doesn't have to spend like a couple $100 to see a bunch of movies in theaters. They can just stream it at home.
Exactly. And kind of just to go to that point as well, to kind of go through not all the nominees, but a lot of the big ones that did really well. Netflix overall as a studio had the most nominations. It's around like the third or second most in a studio's history. It has 35 overall. It notched 24 last year, if you include The Irishman and Roma the year before as well. So the Netflix did really, really well for itself. United Artists still holds the most nominations with 45 with its 1941 slate. But the next biggest studio that had the most nominations at number 2 was Amazon with 12, with a lot of that going to pictures such as Sound of Metal, which we'll get into the nominees that it was awarded to. But the first studio, which was Walt Disney, still coming in at number 1 in terms of studios, coming in at number 8. So the streamers, again, like we were talking about, dominating this year with the pandemic. Netflix at 35. So the momentum for Netflix just keeps going, of always wanting to add prestigious awards contenders. And it did that last year, and it obviously continued to do that this year as well.
Yeah, I this is the year for it, you know. They couldn't have made an environment more perfectly suited for a streaming studio or a streaming service, and they really were pushing a lot of big movies. And you know, they had their misses where they had their misses, but overall, like, you cannot be upset if you are Netflix or Prime or, you know, even Hulu. Was able to get a little bit in there. Yeah.
It's exciting, man. Listen, there's a lot of stuff, so we're going to dive right into it now. We're going to go through a lot of the live action short, the short stuff, documentary first to get through them all.
Yeah, let's just breeze right through this. I think I only have like one comment to make about that.
All right, so we're just going to breeze right through these. So the first one we're going to talk about is Best Animated Short Film, and the nominees were Burrow, Genius Loki, If Anything Happens, I Love You, Opera, and Yes, People. So overall, I did good in that category for myself. I thought Out from Disney Plus, I think, might have gone in. I thought that was a cute little short, especially when we talk about inclusivity, diversity. That would have been one to, I think, really get in there. But Burrow, to me, when I watched that along with Soul when it came out during the Christmas time, I love that little short feature. Pixar and Disney are always doing great shorts like that. So this is a good list, and I think that for me would have been my choice to win it right now.
Yeah, it's the only short I've seen of all the nominated shorts is Burrow, just because on Disney Plus. It was cute. I don't know. Maybe to win. I heard that If Anything Happens, I Love You. I heard that was a really nice little one. But again, I don't know. I never keep up with the shorts. We'll see. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about that category. I liked Out too. But you know, I've only seen 2 short films, and one of them got in, so I can't really complain.
That one definitely was a good one. So we'll see what happens in that category. But the next one is Best Live Action Short Film, and the nominees are Feeling Through, The Letter Room, The Present, Two Distant Strangers, and White Eye. So, Jason, what do you think about this category? Any thoughts on this one?
No, I have no thoughts. I've seen none of them. I think The Letter Room has actors in it that might be famous, but I could be wrong. Is Oscar Isaac in that? That's the only thing I might have to say about.
I think he's in that one.
If he's in that, I'm fact checking on the spot.
He might be in that one though. I believe.
Okay, Oscar Isaac is in it, so that's my pick because Oscar Isaac is in it. So that's really all I have to say. I know nothing about any of them.
All right, so we'll definitely keep in touch with those ones. It's always, even with other awards prognosticators, those are the short ones are usually ones where you wait till the nominations come out and then you watch those shorts and then you come up with the winners for who you think. So we'll have a better idea, I think, about them when we get closer to the end of April when the telecast is around. So we'll come back to these ones in a little bit. But just to kind of wrap it up with the shorts, Best Documentary Short Subject, the nominees were Colette, A Concerto is a Conversation, Do Not Split, Hunger Ward, and a love song for Latasha. Again, I haven't seen any of these, but these all seem like great subjects to check out. I love documentaries, so this is one I'll definitely be checking out the nominees for this one.
I always pick the documentary shorts just based on the title because, you know, sometimes they'll just have like a love song to Latasha. Like, oh, that sounds it's going to be like it's going to be big. Hunger Ward, oh, that sounds like it's educational. Or, you know, sometimes you can tell, oh, this is trendy. This is a little edgy, you know.
Right, yeah.
That's kind of how I pick it. But then it's like Colette, I don't know what that is.
Well, again, we'll definitely be checking them out and seeing where they go from here. But again, we'll be talking about them later on during the telecast. Now to get into a lot of the below the line categories now. And the nominees were Love and Monsters, The Midnight Sky, Mulan, The One and Only Ivan, and Tenet. Now, Jason, for myself, when it came to VFX nominations, I did get 3 out of the 5 right. Somehow I thought maybe Mank could have picked up a potential 11th nomination. And just to kind of say, Mank was the leading film with 10 nominations, which I think to both of us was not a surprise. But I did have Mank and Birds of Prey on there. But I did not take into account The One and Only Ivan or Love and Monsters, which I think was a little surprise. But again, not seeing The Invisible Man on here, which I don't think it was in the short list.
It wasn't on the short list. So
yeah, which was sad. But I think, again, Tenet, Midnight Sky, I think those are my 2 contenders for this category. I like it, though.
Yeah, I same with you. I got the same 3. And I think the thing is, I heard really good things about Welcome to Chechnya. I thought that was going to be kind of an interesting doc/visual effects dual nominee. It missed both. And I think Mank, the issue is, I know, sometimes Oscar movies like that, like The Irishman last year, they get in and just, they have subtle VFX and people will recognize that. And but I think Mank, it just must have been a little too subtle. People probably, because I know there is a scene with they're going through the zoo and there's obviously CGI animals there.
Yeah,
I know that they did do a lot of VFX, and it's a testament how good the VFX are, because you didn't notice they were in there. But because you didn't notice they were in there, people don't think they're nominated because it looks like mostly it's filmed there. Bloodshot didn't get nominated, and I just don't know what to make of that.
I mean,
I think we're all hoping for a Bloodshot nomination.
I guess we were all hoping to see Vin Diesel in the Oscars somehow, some way.
Good for Love and Monsters. I've not seen that movie.
I've heard good things about that movie, though.
It's Oscar nominated now.
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, the VFX is the one where there's usually a lot of the blockbusters really shine. And again, I think it's a testament to the fact that even though we didn't have big blockbusters, we had a few here and there, Tenet, obviously, and Mulan. Technically a blockbuster when you think of the big budget that was a part of it.
Yeah,
but
they all make sense.
Yeah, so it makes sense. And I think we were able to fill out that category. In a category where maybe we wouldn't be able to fill out 5 nominations, we were able to do that. So, again, very exciting. And I'm happy that Tenet was able to get at least 1 nomination in below the line, because I think at least with its technical achievements, it was fantastic. So at least it got that, and I'm very happy that maybe it could be the front runner for this category when you see all the inverted stuff in that movie. So maybe that could be the one. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on now to Best Production Design. The nominees are The Father, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, News of the World, and Tenet. So another big nomination for Tenet, which I was happy about. But again, when you look at production design, Jason, I only got 2 out of the 5 correct. I thought maybe the Academy might go. We know how they love the Victorian, the very stylish, old school kind of costumes of like the little girl or Little Women. I was thinking of something else, Little Women. But I thought they would go with Emma. I thought they would go with Personal History of David Copperfield. So I was a little surprised that they didn't get it. But Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, I thought that was a no-brainer. We know even though we might not have thought well of Mank in terms of its story, but the actual production design, the way that it made you feel like you were in that old age of Hollywood, David Fincher and his crew did an amazing job of that. So not surprised by that nomination or Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And again, happy to see Tenet score a nomination there. And The Father, I am a little shocked about.
I haven't seen The Father, so I can't comment on that. I really don't know what, because I really just see the promotional stuff. And I'm like, it's an old dude sitting in his house, so I don't know what the production really is there. But I am probably gonna feel stupid after I watch it. Yeah, I did think Emma had a chance, Midnight Sky had a chance, Mulan had a chance. I went 3 for 5 as well. I think Mank, Ma Rainey, News of the World, these are the categories these kind of movies pick up. Tenet being kind of a technical darling more than anything else. Yeah, these are the kind of categories that it does well in. I guess this really just shows the love for the father
I
that
guess.
the Academy has. I don't know where it could show up in terms of wins, but it definitely had a really nice day.
It did. It scored, I believe,
It did six
nominations. All right, so 6 nominations that film has. So again, yeah, I mean, it scored really, really well, which I'm not surprised by the fact that the Academy loves that kind of movie, and I think we'll see that again when we see more of the nominations ahead. But do you think Mank is probably the front runner in this category, though?
More than likely.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
They really did a great job of building that world.
They did.
And
which again,
they don't. The Oscars rarely go wild with it, and you can tell by the nominees. I mean, pretty much all of these are grounded in reality outside of Tenet.
Pretty much.
So they like their period pieces, and Mank. There it is.
There it is. It's right there for the taking. So we'll see what happens with that category. Now to move on to Best Makeup and Hairstyling, the nominees were Emma, Hillbilly Ugly, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, and Pinocchio, which I do have to mention, Pinocchio did get a lot of love when it came to a lot of the below-the-line categories in this year's Oscars. So we'll definitely be hearing that name a little bit more as we go on with these categories. But, Jason, I did go 4 for 5 in this one. Birds of Prey I had in over, I think it was Pinocchio. Yeah, so Pinocchio I had Birds of Prey over Pinocchio, but everything else I got on that list. What about you? Were there any surprises? Did Hillbilly surprise you in any kind of way?
I missed Emma, but okay. I went 4 for 5 also because just Suicide Squad had won the category, so why not Birds of Prey?
Right, yeah.
Hillbilly Elegy, the makeup's good.
Yeah.
It felt like it was going to show up somewhere, and there it is. Ma Rainey, how could you not see that?
Yeah.
I'm glad Mank got it because some of the lack of color sometimes can cloud your vision with that kind of stuff, but exactly. Very well deserved. Haven't seen Pinocchio, but I had predicted it just based on what I had seen from the movie. It seems like one of those big fantasy. They go fantasy for a category like that. It stood out to me in the short list. So
I do got to give you a point though when you're talking about the black and white and when it comes to makeup, because along with that,
can't forget the hairstyling too.
The hairstyling as well, but also with something like a WandaVision. Just to go to that real quick, when they filmed the 2 black and white episodes, they talk about how they had to find different shades of color when they were filming to make it look really good with the black and white, because if you have one color over another, it could either look really bright or really dark, and it might not fit what other colors you have around you. So to go for Mank, the same exact thing, where for Amanda Seyfried to find different shades of lipstick or eyeliner, or so it takes a lot to figure that out. It's not just a simple, we'll go with this regular shade or this regular shade or anything like that. It's methodical. It takes a lot of research to find that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And I think you just need to consider that with Mank overall in terms of
absolutely.
Also with costumes and production design. The entire set for any movie shot in black and white, you have to account for those things, especially a big period piece like that. You don't want those costumes that are being custom ordered to look odd on camera. We'll talk about that category later, but it's just those little things that I'd assume industry voters know a little more about than me, or your average viewer. But yeah, you always need to consider that kind of stuff when I'm looking at those big technical movies.
Exactly. So we'll see where this category leads. But who do you got as a front runner here? Do you have Ma Rainey?
Ma Rainey.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on with the makeup there, and it looked amazing. Just everyone they were able to get down.
Again, Viola Davis looks. You can see her in it, but the way that they're able to put that makeup on, she looks like another completely different person. So they did a great job with that role.
Now I hope Billie Eilish win.
Listen, you never know. I got to give it up to the fact that, again, they made Glenn Close look like the character.
They put glasses on her. They need an Oscar for that.
Glasses and some prosthetics along the way. Put her around her. So I can understand. That was one where I had a feeling that Hillbilly might show up, and we'll talk about another category that it shows up in a little later down the line. But to move on to Best International Feature Film, the nominees are Another Round from Denmark, Better Days from Hong Kong, Collective from Romania, The Man Who Sold His Skin from Tunisia. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but believe it's Tunisia. And Quo Vadis Adia from Bosnia and Herzegovina. So, Jason, when you look at this list, what do you think is a front runner for Best International Feature? Is it Another Round?
It's another round. Because we didn't have Life Ahead to really look at.
No Minari,
and then other
obviously.
movies that had been getting hyped, like Two of Us and La Llorona and Dear Comrades, they were not getting those nominations. So, yeah, Collective, I've heard good things about, and that has another nomination as well.
Right.
In, I believe, Quo Vidas Ida.
Yeah, I believe that's the name.
If I'm saying that somewhat correctly. That did really well at the BAFTAs. So, was not personally shocked to see those. I think I went 3 for 5 here. I think I got those 3. I missed The Man Who Sold His Skin and Better Days.
Yeah, I believe I went 2 for 5 because I only got Another Round in Collective. I put two of us in there. I thought 2 of us would get nominated. I put The Mole Agent. I thought Mole Agent could have gotten it.
But yeah, no, Another Round, I keep getting great reviews. Thomas Vinterberg, he did The Hunt, which is one of my personal favorite movies ever. So I really got to check this one out as soon as I can. With him and Mads Mickelson back together again. And he deserves it. He's an incredibly talented director. He deserves to finally win. And
also the fact that obviously no Minari in here anyway, so that couldn't be a front runner in here as well as a lot of the other
awards. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, absolutely. But again, I'm just saying, Critics' Choice or Golden Globes, or I believe it was nominated at the BAFTAs for Best Foreign Language Film too.
I don't know, actually. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it's a little different because USA is actually international for them.
Yeah, so that would make sense. But thank God it didn't get that here. So again, like you were saying, I believe with you, Another Round is the front runner for this category. All right, moving on to Best Film Editing. The nominees are The Father, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. So, Jason, we were talking about this last year as well, but film editing is a very crucial category when it comes to maybe predicting a Best Picture winner. Because usually we always say the best film editing, the way that you construct a story, a movie, the pace of it, it all comes from post-production. So we usually find that kind of indicator with this category. And last year, one of the big hair raisers, I believe, was when Parasite won this award for film editing, and that's really kind of one of the first indicators of what got the trend.
Actually, it was nominated, but it lost to Ford v Ferrari.
Was it Ford v Ferrari? Okay.
Yes, but the big indicator was that 1917, which was the supposed frontrunner that year.
Yeah, and it didn't
snubbed in that category.
Right.
And sometimes Birdman wasn't nominated for editing, and that went on to win. But besides that, very few examples of movies getting nominated for editing, not getting nominated for editing, and then winning Best Picture. So that's why this is pretty crushing for something like Mank or Minari,
right?
That didn't fit in. But that's also just, these are the movies that the Academy really likes usually. So something like Promising Young Woman getting in, I think a little unexpectedly. The Father getting in, on top of Sound of Metal, which totally deserved it. Nomadland, pretty predictable, and the front runner is probably Trial of Chicago 7.
Which I agree with you. Which honestly, I thought Sound of Metal was a surprising one because I had Promising Young Woman in my 5 spot. So I think Sound of Metal was a big surprise.
I think Sound of Metal, just the construction of that movie, and the director Darius Miter.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, you got it.
I was listening to an interview with him with Variety, and he was talking. He's an editor himself. He was talking about the process of finding an editor. He just needed to find someone who was better than him. And he went through just several people and just really was tough on them because he needed the movie to be down the way he wanted it to be.
Right.
And, anything involving music and sound, the editing is crucial because that stuff all needs to sync. I know it's not like a musical or anything, obviously. The actual music is only so big a part. But I mean, they keep such a nice energy going throughout that story, and that's all editing. And we'll talk about some other technical things with that movie, but yeah, that is a very worthy nominee in my opinion. I am a little surprised that Promising Young Woman got in, even though it's my favorite movie of last year. I think that just goes to show that the Academy really, really was digging that movie. And yeah, I mean, but like I said, Minari, Mank, they needed to get in there if they want to be Best Picture contenders.
Yeah, that's the way to go. And also, just to go off of Promising Young Woman, it scored 6 nominations, along with in a tie between Judas and the Black Messiah, Nomadland, and The Trial of the Chicago 7, which again we think is the front runner to win.
Pretty much every movie nominated for Best Picture except for Mank and
Minari.
No, I think everything got nominated. I think Mank got 10, and then like every other Best Picture nominee got 6.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think Promising Young Woman got 5.
No, it got 6. 6.
I'm doing the math. I'll do the math in my head.
Okay.
While you talk.
Okay. All right. So we have that one, and Sound of Metal also scored 7 nominations along with Minari.
I'm counting 5, Sam.
Was it 5?
I'm counting 5. I think it got what I predicted. It got the Get Out 5.
Huh? Because I have it here for Variety.
Picture, director, actress, screenplay, and editing.
I thought I picked up something else as well.
We'll go through it, but I'm right.
We'll go through it again, but I'm sure you're right. I am not going against the connoisseur himself, so I will throw out whatever stat I saw.
Or I just totally, because I got no sleep from the Grammys last night, I'm just totally blanking on one.
But I will trust you on that. But if it does come up, and we'll tally it again, and we'll have a better confirmation. But we are going to go with 5 nominations for Promising Young Woman right now. But either way, film editing, we have Trial of Chicago 7 right now as a front runner to win this award, which I do think.
I do want to know, winning editing doesn't equate to winning picture. Absolutely. I mean, it's a nice pickup if you're going on your way to it, but very few Best Picture winners in recent years have actually picked this one up. Like I said, last year Parasite lost to Ford v Ferrari, which was not competing at all for Best Picture.
Right.
That was probably like the 9 that year.
It'll be interesting.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
But this is one where the nominations are very important.
Yeah. And what's in and what's out, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so moving on now to Best Documentary Feature, and the nominees are Collective, Crip Camp, The Mole Agent, My Octopus Teacher, and Time. So I got 2 out of 5 nominations here, which I honestly have to say 2 out of 5, even 1 nomination we got right in this category. I consider that a win, considering that this category is very much a wild card every single year. Sometimes what we think is a front runner 4 months out of the nominations usually never ends up getting nominated whatsoever. Biggest example, Won't You Be My Neighbor, or three Identical Strangers.
3 Identical Strangers.
Yeah, was the other one as well, I think, nominated.
Apollo 13 or 11, whenever one it was.
Apollo 11.
Yeah, so the front runner always misses, except this year the front runner Time made it, and I guessed it, and of course that did. I don't know if it's actually the front runner, but that was in my mind the front runner.
Same. I thought All In would have gotten nominated.
So here's my thing. I think not to make this about politics or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you heard, but Joe Biden won that election in November.
Very true.
Then they had that election in January, and the 2 Democrats won that.
Yes.
I think after that happened, everyone was like, everything's good now. We don't need to focus on movies like Boys Camp and All In. MLK FBI. More political leaning documentaries that they always like to nominate.
Yeah.
I don't even think Good Trouble made the short list.
No, Good Trouble didn't make it.
And, Time has political undertones, and I don't know much about the rest. But I feel like that definitely was a factor in those movies missing. It's just, it's not on people's minds constantly like it was. Like, All In, Fight for Democracy, very timely when it came out. super relevant, very important subject matter. Still a very crucial subject matter.
Yeah.
Especially,
Even with the victories, it goes
even
right
with the
hand in hand with the
victories,
story.
now a bunch of voting right things are coming up across states. So like, yeah,
Right.
that's like that movie's actually more relevant now maybe than it was before.
Yeah.
But here we are. I
Yeah.
thought something like, I thought Welcome to Chechnya was going to get in.
Same.
I saw Dick Johnson is Dead, which I saw over the weekend, which I personally love.
Was it good? I heard
my
great
favorite
things.
documentary of the year. Very entertaining. It seemed like a lighthearted, fun one that could get in. Very heartfelt.
Okay.
Very upset to see it lose. Miss out here. Truffle Hunters, I've heard great things about. I heard they were sending truffles to Academy voters. I thought that could help.
Hey,
hey,
sometimes it helps sweeten the deal. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that stuff really isn't flowing with the Academy this year, I think. With all
maybe the truffles weren't good. Maybe they went bad in the mail.
Listen, chocolate can't survive the mail for that long. So
they're not chocolate truffles.
Oh, they're not chocolate truffles.
They're like mushrooms.
Oh, see, whenever I think truffles, I think chocolate truffles. True. I gotta watch the documentary. So it'll be on my list for watching before the Academy Award. Even though it's not in it, definitely want to check out a lot of these awards or a lot of these non-nominations. But again, that's the great thing about the Oscars is the fact that even for something that isn't nominated, you want to go back and check some of this stuff out. So that'll be one that I definitely check out on my list. But yeah, same with you, Jason. Welcome to Chechnya. Dick Johnson is Dead. I had those on my list as well, and I thought those would have been not the front runners, but I thought they were almost sure bets to get in. But again, with this category, nothing is really a sure bet when it comes to it, which is why I think, again, just picking one or two of the films to get into this category is a win because it's always a wild card.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on now to Best Cinematography. And the nominees are Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, News of the World, Nomadland, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. A lot of great picks in this category. I went 4 for 5 on this. I got Mank, which I think was no surprise. Yeah. Nomadland, no surprise. News of the World, again, I think the fact that it picked up a lot of below-the-line nominations, it's worthy of it. I think the scope, the color of it, it just was a great sweeping cinematic feat. Again, if people saw it in the theaters, I think it would have had a great effect on them. But just watching it on my laptop, it still had that same beauty to it. And Judas and the Black Messiah, kind of, again, being that late bloomer this, I think, award season that has really kind of come on strong. We'll talk about it in some of the above-the-line stuff as well. But cinematography was one of its big highlights that people loved about it, and it was very much well-deserving. So I'm happy that it got in as well.
Yeah, Judas and Black Messiah was so happy to see because Sean Bobbitt had got snubbed back for 12 Years a Slave, which just makes zero sense to me, just based on how beautiful that movie was visually on top of everything else. Yeah, he's been the DP for all of, or most of Steve McQueen's movies, so he brought it, man. And that's very happy to see him finally get his love. I believe the cinematographer for Mank, this is his feature film debut as a cinematographer. So big up for him for getting nominated for right out the gate, well deserved. And Nomadland makes sense. I went 4 for 5, didn't predict Trial of Chicago 7 because I didn't think that movie was particularly not poorly shot, but definitely not Oscar nominee material. But I guess sometimes they nominate the best cinematography of the Oscar movies instead of best cinematography. I personally thought I went bold and I said, no, this movie is going to get a little more love than we think. The Five Bloods, it's getting that fifth spot. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was stupid of me. but I wasn't going to predict Trial of Chicago 7. I probably would have swapped it for like Tenet or maybe even Minari or Ma Rainey's Black Bottom before I was going to predict Trial of Chicago 7.
Yeah, because I had Ma Rainey's as my number 3 on Gold Derby. That was my number 3 pick. I would have loved to see Tenet on there, but I just think there were other picks that were worthy and were gaining a lot of momentum in those categories that I don't think Tenet would have gotten it. Tenet's cinematography is gorgeous and it's amazing, but I thought the Ma Rainey cinematography was crisp. It was colorful. It set the tone for what the film was.
They took advantage of the limited set, and I think that's important. But guess the Academy thought differently than us.
Yeah. I guess they did not see it that way, which again, alas, we will have to see which one wins it here. What do you think wins it, Jason? Or who do you think is the front runner?
Yeah, it's probably Nomadland.
Really? You think Nomadland?
Yeah, that's, they had so much to shoot.
It's true.
They had just so many beautiful landscapes and wide shots. And yeah, it feels right for that movie to get it. Mank is a contender for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Mank is so strong here, but who knows?
I would love to see Judas Black Messiah do it.
I would love to see that too, but right now I would have to pick my early frontrunner would be Mank. Right now,
we'll fight later.
I know we'll fight about it later.
We'll fight in a month or so.
Exactly, but I think right now I would go with Mank, and Nomadland would be my number 2 right now. But I honestly, like I did with my Golden Globe pick of Soul and Mank, of a best score, I'll probably flip-flop. That would be one of my flip-flops that I'll probably have by the time we get to April. So definitely one that I think is going to be a crucial contender, and one that I think could be up in the air as well. So to move on now to best costume design. Did we do that one already?
No,
we didn't do that one? Okay, I'm thinking of another category. All right, best costume design. The nominees are Emma, Mank, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mulan, and Pinocchio. So Pinocchio, again, coming on strong in this category. And Jason, another one where I got 2 out of the 5 right. I thought Billie Holiday could have maybe gotten in here. My number 1 was completely off. I thought David Copperfield would have gotten this one as well. But definitely some surprises like Pinocchio. Mulan I shouldn't be that surprised about, because even though I thought the film was the costumes were gorgeous and amazing. And the costume department did a fantastic job on that set. But were you surprised by any of the nominations in this category?
I went 3 for 5. I missed. I had personal history of David Copperfield, but toward the end, Ma Rainey was my one, and I think that's a safe bet. Mulan was. I missed Mulan, but I was swapping that in and out with News of the World, so I made the wrong decision there. The only one I'm kind of surprised about is
Pinocchio.
Yeah, Pinocchio. I didn't think that was even like on their radar. I don't know. Yeah. I thought that was just like a makeup and dumb thing. I'm shocked I got 2. I got the 2 nominations. Good for Pinocchio. I haven't seen it. I don't even know like if it's a good movie or not.
All right. I think I've heard good things about it. There's so many different Pinocchio films coming out in the next few years, and I get mixed up.
Yeah, I believe this is a foreign language one.
Yeah.
Roberto Benigni's in it, but it's different from the Roberto Benigni directed Pinocchio, obviously, which was not very good.
Because we got this Pinocchio, we have a Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio coming out, we have a Disney Pinocchio coming out. There's so many different Pinocchios coming out.
But
I don't know.
It's an Oscar-proven formula now.
It is, I guess so. So I guess we gotta watch out for Guillermo del Toro's next Pinocchio film after Nightmare Alley. But what do you think is the front runner in this category? Ma Rainey, probably.
Probably Ma Rainey. I mean, they're just like with the makeup. It's just vibrant.
Yeah.
All throughout, the costumes were. Yeah, there were a lot of them, and they were all. They fit the era. They were nice. They were pretty. Emma could contend. And like we were saying with makeup, working on costumes for black and white films, especially with an ensemble as big as Mank, there's a lot of costuming going on. There was that whole Halloween dress-up scene where it was literally just screaming like, "We want a costume nomination."
Yep, basically.
We want to get in here. So I wouldn't count out Mank either. It seems like Mank is like the 1 or the 2 in a lot of these tech categories.
Yeah, which again, honestly, I think in the end is not that surprising, because I think we always thought that no matter what, that Mank would be a contender with a lot of these below the line categories, I feel like.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think definitely Ma Rainey's would be my number 1 right now. Mank probably number 2 at the moment. But again, we're about a month and a half away from the Oscars, so that could completely change by the time we get to Oscar weekend and make our final predictions. But that will be my front runner as of right now. Now to go on to best sound, which is the first time that both sound mixing and sound editing are combined into one category for the first time this year.
First ever. Well, first time, yeah.
First time, and at least for a long time since I've been following the Oscars, it's always been the two categories.
Which is probably for the best.
Yeah.
People don't always know the difference.
Exactly.
It makes sense. Let's just combine it and call it a day. I think we got a decent list.
I think so. So let's run it down right now. So the nominees for Best Sound are Greyhound, Mank, News of the World, Soul, and Sound of Metal. So Jason, again, any big surprises here?
I didn't really hear. I only got two. I only got Mank and Sound of Metal.
Really?
Sound of Metal is the front runner, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just the way they use the sound in that movie is just out of this world. And I think that's one that benefits from the combined editing mixing, because I think the two realms of it, both, the bit of actual drumming we get is good.
Powerful.
The added in, the hearing aid sound effects, the him losing his sound. I mean, that's the entire movie.
It is.
Sound is in the title. It's like the perfect movie to win this category. I was shocked to see Soul in, because I feel like they don't connect the animated sound like that,
Right.
Very well deserved, but you just don't realize that you don't think that they would connect those dots. Haven't seen News of the World or Greyhound, so the two Tom Hanks movies I got into, I don't know, makes sense on paper, but I haven't seen them. Shocked maybe like Tenet didn't get in. Also Ma Rainey. Music-based movies tend to do very well.
Yeah.
Maybe Midnight Sky or The Five Bloods could have gone into, but not super shocked to see them missing here.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest surprise was Greyhound, because that to me was honestly one of my favorites of 2020. I thought it was a very underrated film that not a lot of people were talking about. And I think even watching it on my computer in the summertime, if it had that cinematic quality where if you were in a theater and surround sound, the audio, the sound was a big part of the experience of watching that film. So I'm happy to see that it got a little bit of love within that category. And yeah, I agree with you, Jason. To me, Sound of Metal is, I said it once I reviewed the film, that this is, to me, one of those categories where there's a clear front runner. You can check the ballot, don't have to worry about it afterwards, because just the way that you're describing the sound as well, it's another character in this piece. Like without the way that they utilize the sound, you don't kind of get the same impact that you would if you had the way that they designed the sound. So I think the other all these films use sound in their own ways, but the way that Sound of Metal used it was in a way I've never really seen before. So I think they go with the unique way that sound was utilized in this film.
Yeah, completely agree.
All right. So we agree right now, frontrunner best sound is Sound of Metal. Now to move on to best original score. You ready for this one, Jason?
Let's go.
All right. So we have The Five Bloods, Mank, Minari, News of the World, and Soul. So Jason, kind of being the guy, once again, knowing a lot of the music, any surprises here for you? Ones that were snubbed, shocked? What do you think about this category for best original score?
Midnight Sky was a big go mission for me. I thought that was a great score. That deserves to be there. But, we got the two 9 Inch Nails, Soul and Mank, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross. We knew that was happening. I had a good feeling News of the World. They got nominated for the Globe. I had predicted Minari, so I'm glad to see that get in there. But The Five Bloods, that's the big shock for me. And I don't know why, because Terrence Blanchard had been nominated before for Black Klansman not that long ago, and the score was great. It's the only nomination the movie got. So it's a little weird that that's the only place it was able to get recognized. It was like kind of a shock. But hey, I'm going to take any Five Bloods love. I am glad it at least got in somewhere, because that's it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it. I'm trying to think of what else really could have been in. I didn't think like Trial of Chicago 7 score was all that phenomenal. Maybe Tenet,
Yeah. Ludwig Göransson.
Yeah, that could have been cool, but
such a great soundtrack. I remember seeing that in theaters, and it just literally it felt like the ground was shaking when I was in the theater watching.
Not many people saw it in theaters.
No, I know. So it might not have that same effect if you're watching it at home and getting that. So that might have been the thing as well. But I agree with you where I think The Five Bloods, I think the fact that it was its only nomination, it was kind of like that aftershock where somehow that was the only nomination it was able to get out of everything else it could have been nominated for. That's the thing that the Academy, or at least the sound department of the Academy, the sound branch, was able to find within that film. But again, Mank, no surprise. News of the World was one that was always up and down what was in a lot of people's top 5. And I think Soul, again, that's I'm not swaying from Soul ever again. I'll tell you that right now.
Stick with it. Stick with your gun. It deserves it.
I'm sticking with it. So I think we got a great category here. And again, it's going to be exciting to see which one wins on Oscar night. And I think for the next category that we have, Best Original Song, there's a lot of other great contenders in there as well.
We both went 5 for 5 here.
We did, which I am very proud about this one.
Let's go. Like, props to us.
Props to us. The one where maybe I know for myself, I know you're a big music guy, so you probably would have done better in this category than I would probably have done. But again, I'm very proud that I went for a 5 for 5 in this kind of category. So let's get into it right now. The nominees for Best Original Song are Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah, Hear My Voice from The Trial of the Chicago 7, Hausvik from Eurovision Song Contest, Low C, Scene from The Life of Head, and Speak Now for One Night in Miami. And Jason, I have to tell you, I have not seen Eurovision Song Contest. I have not seen the movie. But from everyone that I listened to, that I've read, that I know, that has seen it, they always praise the song, Hausvik. They always praise it. So I decided to listen to it, and it's fantastic. It's a fantastic song.
I like the song. I'm happy it got nominated. It's silly, but hey, we'll take it.
It's so good, though. So good.
I don't know what the front runner I thought it's between Scene and Speak Now, probably. One Night in Miami did not have a great night, so we will see, or a good morning, I should say. We'll see where that goes. A couple of things, turntables that on paper seemed like one. I was debating putting that in or not, but it seems too. I like the song enough, but it seems so on the nose. But I figured since it probably wasn't getting in documentary, it probably was missing out on song, even though they do like to throw in a doc song. Really wish we could have made a Wuhan flu happen.
Yeah.
But that seemed too good.
Yeah. Or it did well for itself.
Was really good. Green from Sound of Metal, I thought was nice. That was written by the director's brother. I would have liked to see some of that stuff happen, but what we got. Obviously, I predicted it all. Fight for You, I think, is a good song. Husavik, I think, is a good song. Speak Now is fine. And,
Scene is good.
Hear My Voice is whatever, but I know Chicago 7 was getting in.
Do you know what I wish would have gotten in, but it probably was never even had a chance? The Plan by Travis Scott from Tenet. I was looking for that one.
I don't think it made the short list.
I don't think so either.
Oscar nominee Travis Scott. How did we miss that opportunity?
I would have been for it. Listen, one of the most unique collaborations ever in cinema history.
I appreciate them making the effort.
They did. Listen, it was a great collaboration effort. I hope we hear more from the two of them together. I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. But again, with these 5 nominees, I don't know how they're going to do it because we know with the original song, they always perform them to kind of be like the entertainment for the night at the Oscars. And we did kind of hear a little bit, just to kind of go on a side note real quick. We did hear from the Academy that they are going to be at 2 sites for this year's Academy Awards. Are going to be at LA Union Station and also at the Dolby Theater. So if you watched the Grammys last night, we might be kind of getting that side of it where the presenters are at one area and then the nominees are at another area. So we could be seeing that kind of production happening right now with the Oscars. So do you think we're going to see the performers perform, Jason?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, the Grammys proved anything. Like, there's a lot of opportunity to make it work and to really go all out with it. And you only have 5 performers, and the Grammys did like 90 last night. So I'm really, really hoping that they do something with that. It's a decent list of songs. I just want to see Husavik, how they do that. I think that could just be a blast.
Yep, exactly. I would love to hear that because I know Rachel McAdams, as good as from what I heard, she's good in the movie and she seems like she performs it really well. She doesn't actually perform the song, so to actually hear the actual woman perform it, it'll be electric. What's that?
or lip sync in the performance.
Yeah, lip sync in the performance, exactly. But to hear the actual singer go out there and sing it,
that would be good.
That'd be great. So yeah, I love all these songs. So to hear them all would be great as well. So again, there's no shallows where I think that's always like, we're always looking for that big trendy song that usually hits on the live action media front. There's no Let It Go or any of those songs, but some quality songs I think people can be entertained by this year and get and have a good beat to and get really in love with these songs. All right, moving on now to the screenplay categories. Now we're going to go off with
getting to the big categories.
Yeah, well, absolutely. These are the above the line categories now. This is the big bucks. This is where we earn our money, Jason.
I'm just going to say right off the bat, I went 8 for 10 with the 2 screenplay categories. I went 4 for 5 for each. I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
That's a good. All right. So we'll see which ones you hit on. So we'll get into it right now. Best original screenplay. Let me just pull up the nominations real quick. Here we are. The nominees for best original screenplay are Judas and the Black Messiah, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. So Jason, again, you said you went 5 for 5 in this category. Was it a
4 for 5 in both? So
okay.
I missed Judas and the Black Messiah. I kept swapping out that and Sound of Metal. Which one's it going to be? Which one's it going to be? I want both to be in there. Both were in there. So thrilled about it. Mank is the one that I incorrectly predicted.
Yep.
Yeah, got the Globe nomination, and usually that's a decent indicator. And the posthumous nomination for
Jack Fincher.
David Fincher's dad, Jack Fincher. That just seems like a good story, but I think this kind of goes to show where the Academy stands on Mank, where, it got in all below the belt, or all below the line. And then when it comes to, the categories you're really going to compete in, not showing up. So that's a rough sign for Mank. Yeah, you really need a screenplay nomination to be contending for Best Picture. I don't see Mank doing that, but I'm so happy for Judas and Black Messiah, for the Lucas brothers to be getting in, for Shaka King to be getting in.
They deserve
Sound of Metal also, because that not only, and so we get Derek Cianfrance to go to the Oscars now, who we haven't heard from in a few years. He helped co-write that movie. So, and Promising Young Woman, Minari, we thought it was happening.
Yeah.
Trial of Chicago 7 won screenplay at Globes. I think Promising Young Woman's probably got this one.
Really? You think Promising Young Woman has this one? You don't think Sorkin's got another one?
Sorkin could get another one, but I don't know, man.
It'll be interesting because, again, I think with the way the Academy operates now, and I think we're seeing it really throughout all this entire slate of nominations. I mean, we look at just the diversity with everything. I mean, so many individuals of color and different ethnicities are included in a lot of these categories that it really has, the Academy, I think, has taken a lot of great steps in their diversity. So I would love to see Minari or Promising Young Woman win this category. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I would give Trial of Chicago 7 the edge a little bit here, but
it just feels like the least personal. And like I said last year, it was my reason for picking Jojo Rabbit and Parasite. With the screenplay categories, it's the one place where I feel the Academy votes with their heart over their head. And it's the movie that hit them, hardest. And maybe something like Trial of Chicago 7 did, but something like Minari or Promising Young Woman, or Sound of Metal, those are so personal. Yeah. To the people who wrote them. Even Judas and the Black Messiah, those films, in my opinion, they really stand up as they should be there. They're just phenomenal screenplay. I'm so happy that those 4 are in there. No offense, Trial of Chicago 7, Sorkin, but
yeah, but you know what? It did. I think the best that it can. And again, we'll see what happens with this category. I think this is another one that's a little competitive. No really clear front runner. We have
a lot of fresh names. A lot of fresh names. Sorkin's really the only veteran. Yeah. Unless you count Cianfrance for Sound of Metal. But it's a lot of fresh faces getting nominated there. So I'm happy.
So we'll see what happens in that category. But a lot of surprises came in Best Adapted Screenplay, and the nominees were The Father, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, The White Tiger, and Borat's subsequent movie film gets the nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Okay,
and exactly following the history of the first Borat film, other than Sacha Baron Cohen not getting nominated for, I don't believe he got nominated.
No, the first one only got one nomination.
Yeah, so it follows in the same history of the first Borat film and getting.
I have history for you. Are you ready for this history?
Go for the history.
This is gonna be good. Only one movie franchise before this had got their first and second movie nominated in Best Screenplay. Mm-hmm. That movie was The Godfather and Godfather Part 2.
Part 2.
So following the footsteps of The Godfather and Godfather Part 2, we now have Borat and Borat's subsequent movie film getting nominated for screenplay.
What a great history follow-up for that.
What a great piece of trivia that, Borat is the modern day Godfather.
I guess it is. It's the modern day GOAT.
It's a really well-deserved nomination. I haven't seen The Father. Nomadland feels like the front runner here just because it's the front runner in a lot of places. I'm happy to see Ken Powers get in here because he didn't get in for Soul.
Yeah.
So he got in for One Night in Miami. Shocked by The White Tiger.
That was a big shock.
I did see that movie. The screenplay is really good. So I can't complain about it. I haven't read the book it's based off of, so I don't know what was borrowed and what wasn't. But the snub for me was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I thought that was getting in. I thought August Wilson, hard to pass him up. They nominated him for Fences, so I figured this adaptation would work. It didn't end up happening. I'm thinking of Ending Things would have been a really nice one. I knew that wasn't happening.
Which one?
I'm thinking of Ending Things. Really would have liked to see Kaufman get a nomination here, but I knew it wasn't happening. News of the World was contending too, I'm sure.
I had News of the World in there.
First Cow. People thought might get in there. I wasn't personally giant on that movie.
I think you can chalk that one up. That one's another victim, and kind of like the Five Bloods, they're victims of momentum of the critic circle.
Exactly. I mean, movies like First Cow are made for critics awards and then never to be heard from again. And that's exactly what we saw. That's why you never really read into those. Critics are not Oscar voters, clearly. But very happy for Borat. Like, really, just
I know.
we love fun nominations like that.
We do. And again, for Sacha Baron Cohen to get that, and for this film, how hard he worked for it, and what he went through and his whole crew went through for that film. And also, again, I think the script for this Borat film, I think, is better than the first one, just because, again, even though I love the first film a lot more and it has a lot more laughs, there's a legit story in this second film. The father-daughter bond, and even like kind of the gags had a connective tissue to it within the story. So I think the script for this one was better than the first one. And
it's good to see, diversity behind the screen, behind the scenes. I believe there were 3 female writers attached to that movie, all getting nominations.
It's a big list.
it's a long list. So I'm very happy that they were able to get, we get some female writers.
Yeah.
In there.
I don't know.
Important for that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Priyanka or if it was Nick that had to say that, but when I was watching, I was saying to myself, man, I feel bad for
she already was doing the entire Borat title.
Yeah,
before naming the 8 writers attached to it.
Yep.
So it was like we're just sitting there waiting for her to read the whole thing.
Exactly, because when she said the whole line, because I'm like, it's just Borat's such a good movie film, but then it really had that long title to it. So I hope they don't have to say that. Do you think they're going to have to say that in the voiceover for the nominees? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, they have to announce everyone. Hey, imagine getting nominated for an Oscar and they just
I'm not saying that the nominees. 100% the nominees should get their. I'm saying the name. The name itself.
I think they're doing the full Borat.
The full and delivering daughter.
Oh yeah, they're making the announcer really really struggle with that.
Yeah, because that's another film that had multiple titles to it. Even in the film, they make it a joke where it's Borat's movie film. It's like Mike Pence or Giuliani and whatnot. So I don't know, but again,
maybe you should do every individual one and just take 20 minutes reading the name of Borat just to have it lose.
Just have Borat have its own category where you can
Yeah.
say those names. Like make like a little block in the rundown saying, yeah, we're gonna have this be the Borat time for somebody just to announce it. Give it to like Marie Bakalova or somebody to do it. That would have been funny. Do you think, again, like I don't know if they'll do this because of COVID or whatnot, but do you think that they would have Maria and Sasha do like a little skit on stage?
Well, we could have seen it with Wuhan flu, but
I know. But as like a comedy, because they do comedy.
Yeah, they'll probably
skits.
do something. They might have them present or something and do a little bit.
Especially if they're both there. I mean, they're both, even though one. Yeah, they'll both be there. So we'll see. But again, I love this category. I think the fact that One Night in Miami didn't have a great morning, great day. I would have.
Prize.
Huh?
Because the screenplay was what I think is most worthy of.
Yeah.
Recognition. So I'm glad it at least got in there.
Yeah, like to me, like again, if it got nominated for other above the line categories, I maybe would have had it up to be the front runner for best adapted screenplay. But I think I'm going to go with you where Nomadland wins the script, even though I think the
Chloe
script.
Zhao is going to be just.
She's going to have a night.
She's going to have to bring a couple bags with her.
Yeah, yeah. Marvel Studios again. Marvel fans, that's your director for Eternals. Just saying. We'll get into that in a little bit, but. Yeah, I would say Nomadland wins it, even though I think that the script for One Night in Miami, even though it's based off of a play, is stronger than Nomadland. Because I like the story to Nomadland, but a lot of it is more in the visual style of things than One Night in Miami. The strength is really in the script.
Yeah, it'll be a weird winner. I just think it's a weak category because there are some great movies nominated. But
I agree.
Of what could win, yeah.
And my wild card would honestly be Borat's subsequent movie film. Maybe that.
Can you imagine? I would cry.
I would cry.
Tears of joy.
You know how we talk about all the political stuff isn't as big as it maybe would have been in November or December. Maybe they're like, you know what? We appreciate for what this film did at the time of what it did, and we're going to award it something. Exactly. It saved democracy. So we'll see. But that would be my wild card right now to potentially win that award. And we'll also have to see what happens at the WGA. Because it got nominated for the Writers Guild Award. And that was, I think, one of the major indicators for getting a nomination. So we'll see.
As did White Tiger.
Yeah. So we'll see. It could be an indicator for what wins at the Academy Awards this year. Now we're going to move on to Best Animated Feature Film. And the nominees are Onward, Over the Moon, A Shaun the Sheep Movie, Farmageddon, Soul, and Wolfwalkers. And
Shaun the Sheep, let's go.
Let's go, man. Listen, that was the only one that I got wrong. I did have the Willoughbys taking it. I thought they would have given it to another Netflix film. They did give one to Over the Moon.
Yeah, I had the Croods. And
it would have been a good one.
And I shouldn't have bet against Shaun the Sheep. I love Shaun the Sheep.
I know. They love those movies.
I only saw Soul and Onward. So I like Soul and Onward.
I got to check out Wolfwalkers.
If there was like... if I was in trouble with the mafia, they tied me up, I owed them money, and they said, Jason, we would, here's the deal. You have to predict one guaranteed winner on Oscar night. It's all over for you if you get it wrong. I would predict Soul winning Best Animated. It's like the most slam dunk of the night.
Yeah.
The biggest slam dunk. No
there's two for me. Two for me.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
Soul is just a massive.
Yeah, it's honestly like we even when the nominations and we were talking about Best Picture, and we'll just say this right now, Soul didn't get a Best Picture nomination, but we were talking Soul on that level of being one of those Pixar films that gets to that level, like an Up did, or Toy Story 3. So I think the fact that we talk about it in that way, there was a little competition between Wolfwalkers making some noise a little bit early in award season.
We like to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's actually sweeping right now, and who's got nominations in multiple categories?
Exactly. Soul.
And who's going to pick up another win that night?
Exactly. So again, I think Soul has this, and it's Disney Pixar too. I mean, again, even last year when people were saying, "Oh, it's going to be I Lost My Body," or it's going to be Klaus maybe taking this award, I was basically saying to myself, no. The Academy loves Pixar. They love Disney films. And unless you bring out, to me, the elevation of what you have to be in order to beat a quality Disney animated or Pixar animated film, you have to do something as great and as culturally revolutionary as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
It's you know,
it's tough.
Some
it's
years it's more annoying than others.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to see Disney just have a monopoly on a category, but time and time again, it's like you get when something like Soul wins over Wolfwalkers.
Yeah.
You'll get like when Inside Out wins over Anomaly. So like every time they try, it's just there's another Pixar movie that just makes sense.
Exactly. So and again, it's just the quality too. I mean, especially for a Pixar film, like they just make great films. And even Disney animation, like I'm not doing a Raya review, but I just saw Raya and the Last Dragon, and that's going to be a contender for best animated feature film this year, and might be the front runner. It's just a great movie. The quality is just there. So
absolutely,
they just put out great stuff. So I'm very happy for that. Over the Moon, I am very happy about as well. I did very much enjoy that film. I thought it was a great, fun, family animated film to enjoy as well. It reminded me a lot of Aladdin a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Reminded me a little bit of Aladdin. So definitely, Jason, check that out when you get a chance. Definitely a good film to check out. Beautiful animation. Beautiful animation. All right, moving on now to the big, I guess I could call these one of the big four, or one of the big four categories, which is, of course, the acting categories.
Yes, okay, I just got to, before we go, I want to toot my own horn here.
Okay.
19 for 20 in acting. And we'll get on the one I missed, but the one I missed, I think was pretty much universally missed. And we'll talk about it, because it is probably my favorite nomination that we got today.
In two of the categories, I only got 3 out of 5, and then the two other acting categories, I went 5 for 5.
All right, that's okay.
I will say that. Not to toot my own horn.
It's
not better than yours, Jason.
All right, what are we starting with?
All right, so I'm going to start with Best Supporting Actress, and the nominees are Maria Bakalova for Borat's subsequent movie film, Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Colman for The Father, Amanda Seyfried for Mank, and Yoon Young-yoon for Minari. So, Jason, again, I think when we were talking about the Golden Globes, we thought this would have been the craziest category. We didn't know what the hell was going to happen here. We had so many different theories of people aren't really safe, who's not safe.
No one was safe except for probably Olivia Colman. And then she didn't get nominated for BAFTA.
Right. And so I think a lot of people were wondering what's going to end up in this category. And I think in the end, I think the most standard, non-crazy list was formed in these 5 contenders.
This was a very normal list, all things considered. I mean, Helena Zengel got nominated for Globe and SAG, so it's weird to see her miss. And you never like to see a young actress like that snubbed. I imagine she's very upset today.
But she'll be back. She
prayers up for Helena Zengel. This is a good 5. It's weird because it's like Yoo Young-yoon. I think she's probably a front runner, but she needs to get nominated first. I'm not 100% sold on it. So glad she got nominated. I think she might pull it out. Maria Bakalova, it's like all season we're like, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? She won Critics' Choice. She got nominated for SAG. She got nominated for BAFTA. It happened. So happy for her. Amanda Seyfried, she's had just such a long career. It just never has been like an Oscar talent until now. Glenn Close, we got the Glenn Close Olivia Colman rematch that people wanted. I don't think it's going to be much of a rematch. No offense to Glenn Close. Interesting fact. I don't know if this is precedented at all, but Glenn Close now might be the only person in my memory.
Yep, you're right.
I'm wrong, to get nominated for the same performance for both an Academy Award and a Golden Raspberry, because she was also nominated for Worst Supporting Actress for the Razzie. So there we go. Here's some history. Very divisive performance, I guess, even though I thought that Worst Supporting Actress nomination was like totally, as much as I didn't like Hillbilly Elegy, that was not, that's not what it, that didn't make sense to me. There were issues with it and how her character was written, but she gave a good performance. I wouldn't personally nominate her. I would have loved to see Dominique Fishback get in there. I thought that Ellen Burstyn was great in Pieces of a Woman too.
Yeah, her momentum was what really died down after the Globes.
Yeah, if we were really being like niche, like Toni Collette, and I'm thinking of ending things, would have been awesome.
I know. I know you would love that.
But also, I guess my prediction was the Jodie Foster thing, right? Where I said, this is just like a shrug. Like, this is just we didn't nominate Maria Bakalova in this category. We didn't nominate Yoon Young-yoon. It's just
throw it out there.
Yeah, give it to someone. I don't know.
Which is kind of crazy, the fact that with at least Maria Bakalova, I think they at least with the Hollywood Foreign Press, they switched it over to Best Actress in a comedy drama or comedy musical. Like, she could have been in supporting, but I think they switched it over.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I had Jodie Foster as my 4 and 5. At 4, I had Jodie Foster. 5, I did have Dominique Fishback and Judas and the Black Messiah. That's how crazy I went at. Like, that's how I thought of this category, where there's gonna be some crazy surprises.
I knew not to bet on it. I knew they weren't gonna make me that happy with this movie.
But I think again with Maria Bakalova, for me, it's between her and Yoon Jung-yoon for Minari. I think, again, it's going to come down to the SAG. Whoever wins the SAG becomes my main frontrunner to win that category.
And if they win BAFTA too, then it's just...
Yeah, it's just a solidified one.
The winner is harder than the nominees, in my opinion. It's going to be a weird one.
We'll see, though. We'll see. I think it'll come down to, at least right now with the voting, who has the most buzz going in right now. Is it still Maria? Does Yoon Jung-yoon, because Minari came out over the last few weeks? Does that have momentum now moving forward, kind of like what Judas just did over the last month and a half with being released to the public on HBO Max and to critics? So it's going to come down to momentum. So that'll be the interesting piece. So that's going to be all about the campaigning. That's why in campaigning and award seasons, it's crucial when it comes to that. And it's especially in these time periods right now with the pandemic, campaigns and studios are going to have to get creative. So we'll see what happens on that front. So those are my 2 front runners for those right now. I think, Jason, you're in the same boat as well.
Yeah, pretty much there.
Yeah.
It's not going close this year.
Yeah, it's not going close this year. Nor is it Olivia Colman. And so, but I think, Yeah, and same thing with Amanda Seyfried, which, again, I think the fact that she got the Globe, didn't get the SAG, but she's back in the hunt. She's got the Oscar nomination.
She should be happy. She should be happy with the nomination, because it was a little up in the air. I'm glad it happened.
And I think that this is going to be hopefully the start for her for being in more prestigious stuff like this and more roles like what she did as Marion Davis in Mank. So we'll see where that lands us in that category. But now we're going to move on to Best Actor in a Supporting Role, or Best Supporting Actor, as people like to call it as well.
Great category.
This is such a great category.
Early spoiler alert. I love what happens here.
So the nominees for Best Supporting Actor are Sacha Baron Cohen for The Trial of the Chicago 7, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Lakeith Stanfield for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami, and Paul Raci for Sound of Metal. And the Jared Leto train stops here, Jason. You don't have to think about him anymore after the SAGs. So, again, I think this is a big surprise with the category, specifically Lakeith Stanfield sitting alongside his co-star Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay, so we got to talk about this.
All right.
First of all 5 of these just
worthy.
Like, oh my God, I got 4 for 5. I missed Lakeith. We'll get into that. I had Chadwick Boseman coming in for The Five Bloods. I'm a little upset he missed, but we'll get to him later. Alan Kim, David Strathairn, Bill Murray, some other people, but that could have gotten in. But I think this is as good as it gets. Now, the Lakeith Stanfield thing. That's the one I missed. He's being campaign lead. He's only gotten 1 nomination. I believe he got a Black Reel nomination prior to this. That's his only precursor nom, and that was for Best Actor. I guess, would you say Lakeith is actually a supporting actor in Judas and the Black Messiah? I just feel like he is totally the lead. So
it's really his story. Like, when you watch the film, it is his story.
I could give it that Daniel Kaluuya was the supporting. I could give it that,
right.
That was a little bit of a debate. I don't know if I can give you it being like co-supporting actors. It's not like Trial of Chicago 7 where it's a big ensemble. But also, I'm so happy that he got in. It's like, I don't really want to complain. I don't know how that happened though, because he's being campaign lead. I guess the Academy can vote however they want.
Right.
This one just I saw this and I thought it was a mistake. I don't understand how this happened. I don't even understand how it happened, but I'm just so glad that Lakeith Stanfield has an Oscar nomination for that.
This is from Scott Feinberg, and I just found a little piece of his article in which he talks about this. So do you want me to read it to kind of get
please give me any insight on how this happened and
all right,
why I got to be happy.
So this is from Scott Feinberg from The Hollywood Reporter. He is basically their award season columnist. He's their awards insider. If you ever want to go to some things other than the Sam Bussell podcast for award season information, Scott Feinberg is definitely somebody to check out. And this is one of the things he said in his article talking about the analysis of the nominees and talking about Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. And this is what he had to say. Nobody, and I mean nobody, predicted both Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield getting nominated in this category for Judas. Stanfield was being pushed as a lead and Kaluuya as a supporting actor, but unlike with the SAG Awards, where a studio's category preference is automatically accepted, or the Golden Globes, where a studio's category preference is either approved or overturned before nomination voting, members of the Academy's acting branch decide for themselves which category a performer belongs in. See Kate Winslet with The Reader 12 years ago. In this case, Kaluuya was top billed, but had already been recognized with Best Supporting Actor, Critics' Choice, and Golden Globe Awards, which probably confused matters, and Stanfield had received no precursor attention at all. I would bet that both actors received plenty of votes in both categories. In fact, one or both may have even made the top 5 in both categories, but ever since Barry Fitzgerald was nominated as a lead and a supporting actor for the same performance in 1944's Going My Way, it has been ruled that a performer can only be nominated in the category in which he or she received more votes. So it seems like it's a thing where, okay, if these actors receive more votes in either actor or supporting actor, that's where we're going to put them.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm just surprised that so many people chose to put Stanfield in supporting. But I won't complain because he has worked so hard for so long. He is just such a talented actor. And this is his best work to date.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad he was able to get in. He really deserves it. It's my favorite nomination today. That being said, Kaluuya is going to win. I think this just goes to show the love that the Academy has for Judas and the Black Messiah really came up from behind. I'm willing to bet Dominique Fishback was the number 6.
I'm sure.
Supporting actress. I'm really willing to bet that was the case. I'm seeing this. You're almost shocked that she didn't get in.
Because again, I think the fact that Judas had a great day overall shows that the Academy supported this film from the beginning. Like they were in on this movie no matter what. So I am happy to see Lakeith Stanfield in there. I'm happy to see Paul Raci back in here. I think especially after losing a lot of momentum, not getting a Golden Globe nomination, not getting a SAG nomination, to kind of come back like an underdog and take one of those spots away, it was great. And I'm very, very happy for him. Again, Jared Leto probably took a spot in both the SAGs and the Golden Globe. So to see that kind of rectified here, I think is great. So I'm very, very happy.
The Paul Raci one I'm over to move for too.
Yeah.
And also good Sacha Baron Cohen finally get an actor nomination.
Yeah.
An acting nomination in general. Leslie Odom Jr. dual nominated today.
Yep.
So there's a lot to be happy for.
Yeah. And Daniel Kaluuya, I agree with you, Jason, is the front runner right now. Again, that all started once the Golden Globes came around. He hasn't really lost since. He's become the front runner for this category, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon, unless the SAGs are going to be the biggest indicator for what we can see as front runners come out with Best Actor or really any of the acting categories this season. But now we're going to move on to another big category that I think could be kind of up in the air right now after all the nominations have been solidified, and that is Best Actress in a Leading Role. And the nominees are Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Andrea Day for The United States versus Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDermott for Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. And again, Jason, to me, this was the 5. I went 5 for 5 in this category. Yep. No surprise whatsoever. I thought maybe Rosamund Pike could have made a little bit of noise, but again, I don't think that was a big thing. It felt
set in stone after the Globes that Andrea Day was going to get that nomination.
Do you think that helped her though? Like that was like
I think that's really the only thing the Globe probably helped was to solidify her. But her winning just shows that there is love for that performance. the only nomination for the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what's going to hurt her in terms of actually winning this category. But yeah, it's, I still think Carey Mulligan has it, but it is weird. She did, after losing Globes, it's tough to bet on her, and then missing out on SAG or BAFTA randomly for that nomination, as did Viola Davis.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there.
We'll see. I mean,
it's a great category. I haven't seen United States versus Billie Holiday, but the 4 performances that I've seen, all worthy of being there.
Yeah.
I know, Sophia Loren, people were talking about her, Rosamund Pike, Zendaya.
Those really died down.
But they didn't really gain traction. I know Amy Adams got in for SAG, but I don't think Hillbilly Elegy was going to get multiple nominations like that. I think it got where.
Do you think that was? No, go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, I just think that was a situation where Glenn Close is in a less competitive lineup, a more well-known actress.
Yeah. More beloved, I think. I mean, Amy Adams is beloved, but I think Glenn Close is...
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have Amy Adams go up for her 7th nomination just to lose for, not a great movie on top of it all.
But I definitely agree with that. And again, I think for Vanessa Kirby, I'm happy to see her on this list, but she's the only sole representation for Pieces of a Woman, so I don't think that's going to help her that much anyway. I mean,
it's good that she's an Oscar-nominated actress.
Yes.
And Yeri Han, I want to just say, I thought she was wonderful in Minari. I would have loved to see her nominated, but it just wasn't happening there.
No. I mean, this was a competitive category in the fact that I think really for a long portion of the season, at least into the new year, that at least the 3 to 4 slots were pretty much locked up for a good portion of time with Viola Davis, Vanessa Kirby, Frances McDormand, and Carey Mulligan. So I think it was always that 5th spot that was the competitive slot for Best Actress. But I agree with you with the SAGs. I think the Amy Adams one reminded me a lot of like Regina King, where Emily Blunt got that nomination, just because I don't think a lot of people saw the United States versus Billie Holiday at that point. It was still, it got through a lot of press screenings, but it wasn't on Hulu yet. And now it's on Hulu. People see it. And again, I think that Golden Globe win definitely elevated Andrea Day for getting a lot more notoriety. So I think a lot more people will see that performance now. Not saying she's going to win it, but I think that definitely helped. The buzz, like we always say, the buzz, the temperature of what the Golden Globes bring, that Andrea Day is a great example going forward of showcasing how important or how impactful a Golden Globes win can be.
Absolutely.
All right. So moving on now to the final acting category. And I think this is one of the easier ones, Jason. Not a whole lot of surprises, but we'll get into it right now. And that is Best Actor. And the nominees are Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman for Mank, and Steven Yeun for Minari. So again, I think I went 3 for 3 with the locks. I went 5 for 5 overall. And I think this is a good category. Obviously, Delroy Lindo not getting in is a snub. I just felt like the momentum was lost for him. Yeah, it is inexcusable. He deserved it, but not seeing the 5 Bloods on here at all, really, other than 1 for score, didn't really help its chances. And also, I just think it just died down. I don't know why, but it just did. It stinks. It stinks. I know.
Netflix must have just had too many movies to balance. They were able to get more nominations for Hillbilly Elegy than the 5 Bloods.
I guess. I don't know. But the crazy thing is they weren't really you didn't really see a whole lot of campaigning for Hillbilly Elegy. That's
barely saw it for 5 Blood. I saw a little bit for both in the city. Delroy, man, it was a big snub. That's insane. I mean, that's going to be just an example of people not watching the movie.
Yeah, but also,
I don't think you watched that movie unless you think he's supporting. But
no, he was lead everywhere though. That's
clearly
the thing.
Lead. I don't see you watching that movie not recognizing that performance. It really is probably my performance of the year personally. Like that. At least it's nice that we at least got the Globe snub and the SAG snub. And then a BAFTA snub.
Which is why it kind of softened the blow a little bit for me.
Yeah, it softened the blow, but we knew. I didn't predict it to happen, but it still hurts.
It does.
We'll get into another category. I assume next, but based on this movie doing surprisingly well, I actually thought Mads Mikkelsen might have. That could be he could have been the 6th. he might have been the sixth. Tahar Rahim got nominated for Globes and BAFTA. So
yeah, Mauritania basically shut out.
Yeah, we'll get into the shutout soon. But,
yeah, we will.
Yeah, it's Chadwick's obviously. But
yeah,
it's good because it's a diverse category. Riz Ahmed is the first Muslim actor to be nominated for lead actor.
Yep.
Fourth overall, following the actress from In the House of Sand and Fog, whose name is escaping me. Omar Shep. His name also escaped me, from the guy from Dr. Zhivago.
Yep, I know you're talking about.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
And obviously Mahershala Ali, who won twice. But he's the first lead actor to be nominated. Muslim lead actor. Steven Yeun is the first Asian American actor to be nominated for Best Actor. It's just like insane that it's 2021 and we're getting to first nominees already. Chadwick Boseman. I'll say, like, Gary Oldman's like the weak link here to me.
Yeah, he is.
He was fine, but I definitely no Delroy Lindo. If I was Netflix, I would have swapped those. But I understand that movie Mank was picking up a lot of steam, and this is one of the big above the line ones that was able to secure. So I'm not really surprised to see it happen. But I don't know. I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen was getting double nominated for Borat. But yeah, this is a solid 5. I'm pretty happy with it. I haven't seen The Father, but I hear great things.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing great things about The Father since Sundance of 2020 when it first premiered. So I've been gearing up for an Anthony Hopkins nomination at least for a long time. So it's great to see him, and he's the oldest actor to be nominated at the Oscars. I believe he's like 89 years old.
Yeah, he's an old man. Good for him.
Very old. But hey, he keeps putting out fantastic stuff. So again, we got to appreciate him for as long as he's here, and he keeps putting out incredible stuff. So very happy to see him nominated as well. And yeah, again, like I was saying before, when we had, I believe it was Daniel, we were talking about Daniel Kaluuya, right? About no, it was somebody that it was a lock. You don't think about this anymore. I believe.
Oh, with Soul.
Soul, that's animated feature. And this one, I think, this is the same thing where this is my second one, where Soul is my first one, the animated feature. This one, Best Actor, is my second one, where you check off the ballot. I say it every single year, check it off, and you don't think about it anymore. You just, you're at peace.
These are the easy points.
Yes.
The one everyone can get right on their office school.
Exactly. So I think this is another one. I believe he will be the third actor to win a award posthumously. He'll be the second one to win Best Actor posthumously after Finch in Network, Peter Finch in Network, and Heath Ledger won it in 2008, 2009 for Best Supporting Actor for The Dark Knight. So again, he
great
is
company to be with.
Great tragic
but also
company.
Unfortunate. Yeah, not great company to be with, but I mean glad that he's getting the recognition.
Two great actors to be in a company with, but tragically it's because they're no longer with us that we have to put them in that category. But all three of them really left their mark with their final performances. And again, Chadwick does the same exact thing. It's going to be heartbreaking to hear his widow's wife's speech and what she has to say. It's been heartbreaking to hear all season long. We're probably going to hear it at the SAGs in a few weeks. So it's just, it's going to be sad. But again, he left us with phenomenal performances all around, and we appreciate what he delivered to us. And again, this is going to be, it's already up for debate of, does he deserve it? Does he not deserve it? And yes,
but is it really up for debate, or are we just saying that to ourselves?
I think people just want to say to have a debate. People just want to say to have a debate, but it's not really a debate. He deserves this award without a doubt. When you look at all 5 of those performances and you look at his, it's just night and day for everybody else. And the other 4 put up great performances all around. But it's just for Chadwick Boseman, it was a tour de force performance.
It's just sometimes it's the year.
Exactly. Tour de force performance, and I think he will be the third person to win a posthumous award for a performer. So to move on now to the final 2 categories that will be announced at the Academy Awards this year, we're going to go with Best Director, and the nominees are Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, David Fincher for Mank, Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, and Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman. So, Jason, the two big snubs in this category, I think one is a little bit more of a shocker than the other one. Aaron Sorkin not getting in for Trial of Chicago 7, and of course, Regina King not getting in for One Night in Miami. But this is always a category that throws a big curveball. I thought it was going to be the director of The Father, but it turned out to be the director for Another Round. I thought
Sorkin was getting in. I played it a little safe. I had the 4 plus Sorkin over Vinterberg.
Okay.
They do like their curveball, and I knew Regina King was going to miss because they are just so pretentious about actors getting in that category. It would have been a historic nomination, first African-American woman to get nominated for Best Director, but Chloe Zhao, I believe now, is the first woman of color in general to be nominated. It's the first time 2 women, period, have been nominated for Best Director.
And they are the 6th and 7th women to be nominated in Best Director. And it's been over.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it has been over a decade. But the first time really a woman ever won was Catherine Bigelow in 2010 for The Hurt Locker. And the last one time a woman was nominated was Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird. Yeah,
it doesn't happen often, unfortunately. I'm glad that they were at least able to get to it. Being able to get through, it sucks to say unrealistic because it's like, why should it be? But in a year this great for female directors, you would have liked to see it. But that being said, Lee Isaac Chung getting in and David Fincher getting in, they make sense. I mean, Fincher, you don't get nominated all across the technical categories and then miss director. He's the guy orchestrating all of those elements that are Oscar worthy. So that makes sense. And Thomas Vinterberg, that's weird because Another Round missed Best Picture. And we've seen that a couple times now, even with the expanded field. We have Cold War, the director got nominated for that movie, did not get nominated for Best Picture.
Parasite, even though Parasite was a mainstream winner last year, Parasite was an international feature.
Yeah, but I'm saying missing director. Picture, but getting director.
Yeah.
It's rare, but it happens. Foxcatcher in 2014, Bennett Miller got in there, but Foxcatcher missed picture. It happens sometimes. It happened again this year. Like I said, The Hunt is one of my favorite movies, and I'm really excited to watch Another Round. Also, partially why now in hindsight I'm a little shocked Mads Mikkelsen didn't get into Best Actor just because of the love that movie ended up getting, and just more proof that Another Round is probably your international feature winner.
Yeah, probably. And also the fact that, again, with directing, it is a bit more of a worldwide category or a worldwide branch where it's not just here in the States you're selecting nominees. Like, it's all over the place. So you're going to get that little flavor in other areas of the world where some people like what someone does internationally, and you give that one of those spots to him as well. And it's tough as well because when we think of the best pictures overall, we do think of the directors that were a part of it. And I know some people are always expanding of doing 8 best director slots, but it's always been 5, and it's just a tough competition. And all these directors did a fantastic job. I have no doubt that Regina King is going to be back competing in this category. She's somebody who has demonstrated that she is a versatile power in this industry between being a fantastic performer. She's produced, she's now into directing. So she's going to be around for a long, long time doing stuff behind the scenes as well. I think for Emerald Fennell, this is fantastic for her. This is her first feature, especially again, being a performer. I think this is great for her. And Chloe Zhao as well. This is amazing.
Clear winner, obviously.
Which, I think, when we talk about front runners, she is to me the front runner for this category because, again, like I was saying with the screenplay for Nomadland, even though I think it's probably the front end, like you were saying too, Jason, I do think this is more of a visual accomplishment. Like when you think of Nomadland and you think of its greatness, even though Frances McDermott is great and she gives a very different performance as what she's done in any of her other work, it really is Chloe Zhao's starring turn as a director. I feel like her coming out party where she's just doing some incredible direction with non-actors and also kind of just making this intimate human story that I think a lot of people might not know about. Some people could be able to relate to it. So I just think it just showcases why she's a great director. And again, I just think overall, I think the Academy for the most part got the directing right. And again, we got a big wild card, and a lot of the directors were given awards. Unfortunately, Aaron Sorkin wasn't able to get one, but again, I thought his direction in Trial of Chicago 7 was okay. I thought it was better than – it was an improvement for what he did with Molly's Game. And I thought Molly's Game, he did a really good job with that as well. But his strength forever, and it'll always be this way, even if his directing gets to a David Fincher kind of level, he'll always be recognized for his writing. And I think that's – whenever he writes his own stuff, it's going to be the writing over the directing.
And when I said earlier – the snubs that happened were snubs I was willing to part with. Yeah, him and director. It's a snub, but I'm not losing sleep over it.
Me neither.
He's got enough nominations.
Yeah.
And he'll be directing again.
He'll be directing. He's already got another movie lined up with Nicole Kidman for the Lucille Ball movie. So
yeah, he'll be okay.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll probably get nominated again for that movie or another movie he's going to be doing down the line. So no worries for me. But again, all 5 of these well-deserved, great diversity within the category as well. And hopefully it continues to be that way. So again, especially after last year where it was the director still male, I think this year you got a nice, diverse case.
And well-deserved.
Well-deserved.
Yeah, definitely wasn't politicking behind the scenes.
Exactly. It wasn't like we were making up for what we did last year. Like it was natural.
Yeah,
nothing felt forced. All right. So moving on to the final category of the night and the biggest category, Jason. And dare I say, maybe a little competitive this year? Is it really the clear frontrunner that we think it is? Let's
go through the nominations.
Yes. Let's go through the 8 nominations, 8 films, the final time that we will have this 5 to 10 list of either 8 or 9 films will be getting in this spot. Next year, it's going to be a full 10, going back to the early 2010s of having 10 straight nominations, no matter what. So we have 8 nominations this year, and those nominees are The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. So, Jason, the 2 big snubs here that I was very shocked by was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and One Night in Miami. And I know some people are shocked about the Five Bloods, but again, kind of like Delroy Lindo, even though I wanted to see it in there, the momentum was lost in the weeks prior to it that it lessened the blow for me. But Ma Rainey, One Night in Miami were the biggest surprises that I was shocked by not getting in.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate that similar to the Globes, the movies that seemingly get snubbed are the ones with black ensembles. One Night in Miami and Ma Rainey, and The Five Bloods, even though we saw it coming, it's still bad. Now, that being said, Judas and the Black Messiah getting in, perfect. I'm so happy that happened. So happy Sound of Metal got in.
Minari.
I mean, we got stuff to be happy about. But that's why I'm glad we're going to the 10, because it does seem a little weird. Ma Rainey especially.
Yeah.
I believe that got 5 nominations, and it's probably winning. It's winning actor, and it's probably winning makeup and costume.
Probably.
It's weird. You're gonna have a movie win 3 Oscars and then not be up for picture. Doesn't really add up to me, but it missed screenplay, it missed sound, so it was missing in places. I thought it was going to do a little better.
Right.
I thought it was actually going to be up there with Mank, potentially tied to lead. One Night in Miami had a terrible night, or had a terrible morning. Song, screenplay, supporting actor.
Direct, yeah. Oh, no, well, those are the ones I was nominated for, yeah.
And even though I thought the movie was good to not great, it still seems like the kind of movie that Oscars would usually go for. It feels a little odd that it missed. But look, I'm happy Nomadland's here. I'm happy Promising Young Woman's here. I'm happy Minari's here. I'm happy Sound of Metal and Judas and Black Messiah are here. And even, like Mank, Trial of Chicago 7, the things that seem a little more standard, and I haven't seen The Father, there's still qualities to enjoy. It's very easy to see how they got nominated in this category. So you really can't be upset. And Netflix could only get so many nominations in a year. They were able to get 2 this year. They weren't able to get 3. Prime was able to get Sound of Metal and couldn't get One Night in Miami. And it happens sometimes.
35 nominations ain't too shabby, though, overall.
It's not too shabby. I wouldn't be upset if I were that.
No, me neither. But do you think Nomadland is a clear-cut frontrunner here? Again, I'm the one who's been saying it's bulldozing
what's
over
number
everything.
2 then? Like, what's number 2 right now?
I would
Minari?
say I put Minari as number 4. I think I would put. See, somebody said, and it's just like it made me think that they would have Judas and the Black Messiah right now over Nomadland.
Mm-mm.
So that made me think a little bit, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to have that kind of momentum. It had the momentum to get the nominations, but I don't know if it's going to have that to win. I just think Nomadland's been winning everything.
I love Judas and the Black Messiah, but it missed director.
Yeah.
It got in by the skin of its teeth in screenplay.
And editing as well.
And it missed editing. Did it get editing?
No, I don't think it got editing. Hang on.
Well, if it missed editing, there you go. I'm looking. Yeah, I think it missed editing. Yeah,
it did.
Down the middle, Promising Young Women. Yeah. No. Trial of Chicago 7 was the number 2 for the longest time, but that missed director.
Yep.
That's a big miss. That's a huge miss. You can't really excuse that, even though it was kind of getting in a lot of categories. It's like the 5 spot, and it's probably the 5 spot in cinematography. It's probably the 4 or 5 spot in song. It's probably so what's going to come out with maybe screenplay and just editing, really, because I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen's getting a supporting actor.
Right.
Mank got a lot of below the belt, or I keep saying that. Below the line nominations.
Below the line, below the belt, yeah. Right.
Keep getting below the line nominations. But it missed screenplay, which is huge. It missed editing, which is huge. It missed some technical ones that you thought it would get, like visual effects. It's just there's always something poking me in the other direction for any of these other movies. And the only movie on this list that I think where, Parasite was a shock, but it was one of those things everyone's like, okay, like it's 1917, but what if it was Parasite? How crazy would it be? Everyone's talking about how awesome would Parasite be as a winner. And the only only 2 movies on this list I see people talking about in those terms are Minari and Promising Young Woman. I just don't see either of those 2 being Best Picture winners.
Right.
I just don't see it happening with them. I don't. And the thing is, nobody's against Nomadland. Where 1917 kind of came out of nowhere as a contender at the end. I'm like, oh, it's just killing now. Nomadland has just been consistently there. Everyone's seen it and be like, yeah, I understand. That's a great movie. I have no problem with that winning Best Picture. I think it's really connecting with people. Chloe Zhao is just a clear winner for Best Director. And might, also get in for adapted screenplay too. I don't see anything being unseated at this time.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I agree with you. You convinced me. I think Nomadland is, again, the clear front runner at this point. We'll see what happens, though. I mean, listen, we got a long way to go before we even get to April 25th. There's still a lot more. We still got all the Guild Awards to go through. Now that we have the actual Academy Awards, the nominations, which is kind of crazy to even think that we're at this point, I think it just intensifies the race. Now we got a very clear picture. Now it just comes down to who we think is going to win. And before we kind of get into our big winners, losers of the day, and maybe some big, bold predictions that we have moving forward, Jason, I know you wanted to talk about some of the films that came up with a big fat donut on its name.
Let's talk about the biggest losers. It's like the little mini in memoriam right here. Of the movies that we probably a year ago or at some point in the last year saw had real shots.
Yep, let's go for it.
So let's pour one out for, let's start with in just in alphabetical order.
All right.
We got Ammonite coming in with a 0.
Yeah. Oh man. I remember when we first talked.
Yeah, we
about
thought that was going to be huge everywhere. Nope.
I thought Kate Winslet, Saoirse Ronan, like locks for best actress, supporting actress.
First Cow, not happening. That's just a critics thing.
Yeah.
French Exit. We saw Michelle Pfeiffer was going to be a thing.
Yep.
Didn't turn into anything. We kind of mentioned that I Care a Lot. Rosamund Pike wasn't able to turn that around. I'm thinking of ending things. Hoffman, You Never Know.
I know you were a big fan of that one. For the longest time,
I knew it wasn't
going to fly.
I knew it wasn't going to be an Oscar.
It wasn't going to fly for anything.
Jared Leto couldn't give anything for the little things, and the Thomas Newman score missed.
I'm sure you're having a little dance party in your head about that, though, Jason.
Oh, yeah. Despite 2 great performances, Malcolm and Marie didn't do it. Despite doing well at, I think leading at BAFTA and doing well at Globes, Mauritanian, nothing at Oscar.
Yeah.
Just, I don't think people saw it at the time. Another critical one that I'm a huge fan of that missed, Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to get in for screenplay or actress, which, well-deserved and unfortunate. Apple TV,
other than one.
They need to step up their awards campaign outside of Wolfwalkers and the one Greyhound nomination. On the Rocks, nothing. And that's, Sofia Coppola hasn't been an Oscar person for a bit now, but seems like it could have done it.
Which I do have to say, though, and I said this on my podcast when the trailers were coming out in September, it had at the time, like you always have those Academy caliber films that on paper have everything like in front of behind the camera, and that film did. But watching the trailers, it didn't have that Academy. It didn't have that sense of this is an Academy level film that I think could go for the award season. It just felt like, and exactly what it was. Like it was like a nice, fun, enjoyable film to relax to, and that's exactly what it was. And I enjoyed it for what it was. It didn't have that. I didn't smell Academy Awards or awards season run with that movie, other than Bill Murray, who got some awards.
This one, I knew wasn't going to make it, but it was one of my favorites of the year and got some Globe love. Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Neon wasn't able to come through again with like they did for Parasite.
Yeah. One nomination. It was in Best International Feature.
Well, not Palm Springs. Oh, wait.
No. I'm talking about Neon. Neon overall.
My brain is dry. I'm sorry.
After the crazy historic year they had last year.
And we thought maybe this could do some tech stuff, some costume stuff, personal history of David Copperfield. Missed out. And finally, thought this could have been a picture, thought some acting awards could have gone this way. And then I think after it underperformed the Globes, we kind of all shut it down pretty quick. And that is Ryan Murphy's The Prom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan Murphy, stick to TV, I guess.
I guess.
A little hard. Maybe next time your luck. I think at the end of the day, we weren't really surprised The Prom didn't end up.
Yeah.
Momentum.
I think that was another
movie.
Yeah, that was like a spur of the moment. I think like at the time being like, oh, this has all this stuff on paper to be that
we're
kind
all
of
home
movie.
with our families. We're enjoying it.
Exactly. Which I think in the end it did its job. Like again, at that part, we talked about with the Globes. Like it did what it needed to do. It was a fun, holiday, entertaining family film to enjoy at that time period with everything going on. So
and there's other movies obviously. I guess there were nominations.
Yeah.
Invisible Man didn't get anything.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed about that.
Birds of Prey.
I'm not that surprised about that movie.
No, we thought it was getting makeup, but that's
maybe yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog missed out. Tom and Jerry.
Well, what was Tom? I don't think Tom and Jerry was eligible.
Tom and Jerry was eligible.
Was it eligible?
That last weekend of February.
True. I don't know. What's funny is the one that it got one nomination, but it feels like it was really had 0, even though it had best score. Was The Five Bloods, and that was kind of one like Ammonite, where I remember the day or the week after last year's Academy Awards, we were going through like all the films that we thought were going to be contenders this year, and a lot of them turned out to be right. I mean, we had, even though it was only for a few, Hillbilly Elegy for Glenn Close, you had Trial of Chicago 7, Mank, West Side Story could have been on there if it was.
We thought Minari was going to be big too, and then it was tough because we saw like French Dispatch was going to be big. We thought Dune was going to be big.
Exactly. I mean, and those films, I have no doubt. I mean, there's going to be a lot of surprises as there usually are throughout the year, but I think those will be big contenders next year if they do come out for the 2021,
Absolutely.
2022
Totally.
season. But like we look at something like The Five Bloods and we're like, that's an awards contender. And it was, but it just didn't apparate to a lot of stuff. And
I think, if it was a normal Academy deadline, maybe it would have happened. But now June is already early.
Exactly. Like
June was the extended deadline. It's like coming out in April now.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, again, it'll be like it'll be well almost a little under a year by the time the Oscars roll around that I think press was starting to gear up for The Five Bloods.
Yeah.
So it's just it's just one of those moments where I just think it was way too. And that was always a fear with The Five Bloods, but was that it was a great movie. It just can you sustain that level for a long time, and not a lot of films can do that.
Yep.
So
yeah, but overall, the big winner, just streamers in general.
Yeah.
Netflix killing it. With they were Mank, Trial of Chicago 7, mainly beautiful. I mean, Mank is leading nominations, so there you go, and it's gonna win. It's gonna win some stuff. Borat, for Prime, they were able to get some nomination for One Night in Miami, and most of all, Sound of Metal. It just got in everywhere I could have imagined it getting in. 6 nominations for that movie. Best Picture. Wonderful. And then, you have some like on the line ones. Like Judas and the Black Messiah. I don't know if that counts as a streamer movie. I don't even think it's on HBO Max anymore, unfortunately.
I think
it just fell off.
It might have just fell off. Or this might be
horrible timing for that. I think that fell off like 2 days ago or a day ago. And now I want to watch it again. So I'm sad.
I know. I mean, who knows? Maybe. I mean, that's a movie where I think you could extend it. Like, that's not like it's like a Kong versus Godzilla where it's like, we want to put it back on HBO Max, and that might cause a little bit of an uproar.
I think you'll see it on demand and stuff. So
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, honestly, if HBO Max or if Warner Media, if like they figure out something where say, hey, you know what? Let's put it on HBO Max, get more stuff out there for it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
It's going to at least be on VOD for people who missed it before the Oscars.
I agree.
So yeah, that's a big winner. Losers, it's Five Bloods, One Night in Miami. At least Five Bloods we kind of expected it. One Night in Miami, I think we kind of, even though the writing was a little on the wall, it didn't get in for picture at the Globes. It didn't get ensemble. No, it did get ensemble.
It did get ensemble, yeah.
So then
I was a little surprised.
So that is a big surprise. And Ma Rainey, missing picture, but at least that got in elsewhere. More so. How about you?
I would have to say, to me, Borat is a big winner, especially for best adapted screenplay. So for it to do what it did and being able to kind of go for 2 for 2 in that category for its sequel and kind of make history with The Godfather, that's pretty incredible. So kudos to them. I think another big winner is Sound of Metal. Like you were saying, Sound of Metal is a really big winner for this. The fact that, again, Riz Ahmed was really the poster child for that movie, for that campaign. And a lot of people thought that sound, maybe below the line categories, might have been the only thing it gets nominated for, but got nominated for Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Picture. So it made a lot of noise as well. I thought Soul did really good as well. I mean, getting both a score nomination, which we all assumed that it would get as well, but getting also visual effects as well, and just really doing well at the Oscars all around. I think it was just very impressive. So, yeah, I think those are the main winners that I'm very, very excited about. Losers, again, One Night in Miami to me is the biggest one. The fact that I think Regina wasn't that much of a surprise for me, but Best Picture was very much a shocker. And I think that having that not be in there, I think especially for the times that we are in right now, I think that really could have been a big boost for the Academy. But again, they did a really good job in other places. I thought News of the World not getting Best Picture, I thought that was a little bit of a surprise just because I had it in my 9 spot. And when it was racking up a lot of tech awards, I was very much thinking maybe it could actually get in for Best Picture. So that was one I was a little surprised by. But yeah, those are my big winners and losers for this awards show, for this award season, for the nominations. Again, nothing like shocked me completely. Like I remember last year,
except that Lakeith Stanfield nomination.
Yes,
I didn't even think he was. He wasn't even competing there. So we don't see that very often.
And that's a big winner for me too, Judas and the Black Messiah. And I was happy because, again, once people got around to it and once people saw it, I think it attracted a lot of people, obviously, to see the film. And again, it was the fact that we were looking at a lot of these late bloomer awards pushers like a Cherry or a Malcolm and Marie, a Judas and the Black Messiah, which ones will kind of come out and join these other films that came out from the first half of this award season. And Judas and the Black Messiah, that like a lot of people predicted, was the one that really gained a lot of momentum moving forward. And you saw that in picture and a lot of the below the line categories. And obviously, like you were saying, Lakeith and Kaluuya getting nominations as well. So those are the big ones for me. And again, there wasn't anything huge, no big shocker like that were snub wise, where it's like, wow, this changes the game completely and causes controversy. I think that has happened over the years. This year, it's very quiet on that front. I think a lot of people are looking forward to these films. Now, Jason, going forward, what are you expecting with the telecast itself? Because I want to ask you about that. Because again, I was saying before, 2 venues for this award season they confirmed: LA Union Station, the Dolby. What are you expecting?
It's going to be awkward. I think it's going to be better than the Globes, probably on par with the Emmys. I think they're going to learn a bit from the Globes' mistakes. I think they're going to have some musical performances to help elevate it. I think the production in general is going to look very nice and pretty. I think the no host thing is going to be amazing because.
Do you think we're not going to get a host, or do you think they will find a host?
No host. Please, no host.
No, so you want to keep it going, no host? You like that?
I love no host because I feel every host has been, at this point, watered down so much.
Yeah.
Or in the case of like Ricky Gervais last year, it's like, every joke, he's not allowed to say anything edgy, but right. Just every other joke is like he says something not that edgy and saying, and I get away with saying that, and I'm saying this. Oh, don't get offended, don't get triggered, and it's like you're not actually okay. Like
like you're not making a big
over
scene.
It.
Yeah.
And then even last night for the Grammys, like Trevor Noah, I thought did like a better than average hosting job, and even then I was like, I would like it if you weren't here because this is going on. And I want to go to bed now. And we already have music to entertain us, so what are you really doing?
Right, exactly.
Like I'm not, your jokes aren't funny enough to justify your existence here.
Right.
So
you're like, he's like the DJ host. Like he's a DJ, like in that sense, where he just directs everything and that's it.
He did a good enough job, but the Oscars don't need it. I think.
I could agree with that.
Because all the presenters are actors.
Yeah.
Usually. They have big enough personalities to carry it. So it's like you have like 20 little hosts instead. I think it's better. Speaking
of the actors though, Screen Actors Guild, I want to get your take on this real quick as we have you.
Yeah.
We heard the news, I think like a week and a half ago, that the Screen Actors Guild will not be live. It'll be a pre-taped 1-hour show. Perfect. Where all the winners will be announced. And they said they're going to make sure that nobody posts anything on social media the night before so that they don't spoil anything. How do you like the sound of that, or do you think that's a little bit too much of a risk?
If it leaks, sorry. But I think it does run the risk, and it's going to be a rough hour, honestly. It's going to be so dry.
That's awkward.
But it's like for the SAGs, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm willing to sacrifice. It's because it's such an industry thing, and it's such a precursor for only us to care about.
Yeah, and
I'm fine just watching it happen.
Right.
Just like boop boop boop. I hope it doesn't get leaked, but an hour, that's perfect because I am just so tired of going to bed late. Tired of being sleepy on Monday morning.
I know. Waking up this morning, honestly, for 7 was a little rough. I'm not gonna lie, but you wake up earlier than me for work. So.
Oh no, yeah, I got I get up. I was up at 4:45 today, and I was very upset. I stayed up all the way past 11:30 for the Grammys.
Man, I wasn't doing that.
I'll do it for the Oscars.
I know, do it for the Oscars, man. I went to sleep as early as I possibly could. I was gearing up for a lot of stuff going on this week with some shows and movies going on, but. Overall, I think we're in for a really exciting end of award season. We're almost there, man.
We're gonna kill it. We're gonna kill it.
We're gonna kill it. And one more
Perfect
thing.
balance. We're going for it.
Exactly. And one more thing before I get you out of here, and thank you for coming on. As always, we love having you on. The one thing I want to ask you is this week, there's a lot of stuff going on. And if I don't see you again this week or we don't have you on for the rest of the week, there's a lot of stuff. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We just had the Oscar nominations. South by Southwest starts tomorrow. And then, of course, we have Zack Snyder's Justice League on the 18th. Are you looking forward to any of that stuff? Or are you just kind of just going to
I'll watch
let it go by?
Falcon and Winter Soldier. I like the WandaVision. I'm curious. I'll keep up with it. I'm hearing good enough things about it. Snyder Cut, I am not watching. It's 4 hours long. But so I thought it was going to be a train wreck, and the reviews are coming out today, and they are not train wreck.
They're not train wrecks. They're decent.
Not train wreck reviews, and I kind of cannot accept being wrong on it. I have convinced myself that it was going to just be 4 hours of garbage. And part of me thinks, DC was sneaky last time with Wonder Woman 1984, had all those nice reviews come out right at the front.
Yeah.
And we saw that tomato meter.
Well, see, the thing about this though is that
don't give me facts. I'm right.
Don't give me that straight facts. No, the thing about those is that I think not a lot of the main outlets saw it. It was like a trickle down effect, whereas this one I feel like it's just let the gates open up, and I think that's what this is.
No, I'm not going to watch it regardless. That's the thing. So I don't know why I have such a stake in it. Like,
what if I give you a positive review?
A lot of people are clearly so excited to see this movie. So yeah, I guess I hope it's good for you, and I hope it's exciting for all you DC people who have just wanted a great Snyder Cut for years. Me is the person who really doesn't care about the Snyder DC movies or just pretty much any Zack Snyder movie. Why should I even have stakes in it?
Right. What about South by Southwest? Any films that you're looking forward to in that, or do you think we'll get any Oscar contenders out of that festival?
Maybe. But you know what? South by Southwest is weird with their Oscar movies. They're a little inconsistent with it. They do have great stuff that comes out, so I'm kind of excited. But I always hear about it well after the fact.
After the fact, yeah.
It'll be over the summer, and a movie will come out, like an indie movie, and I'll watch it. I really like that. It debuted at South by Southwest.
Look at that.
I didn't know that. I learned the thing.
Look at that.
I'm a little bitter because I had plans to go to South by Southwest in person last year.
Oh, really?
And go to Austin for that. It did not happen for obvious reasons. And I'm not going to the virtual one because I don't care. I want to go to Austin so bad.
We'll go. You'll go one day. You'll get there. Don't worry.
South by Southwest 23?
Maybe. Never know. Can 23.
Can 23.
Go to the French Riviera, man.
Yeah, I'm sure in 2 years I will be financially set at that point. I'll be at least a year and a half into retirement.
Exactly. You'll be all good. You have all your money ready to go, man. You can spend it all in France.
When I sell my screenplay or whatever.
Exactly. You'll be the next Tarantino in that sense.
Exactly. I'll just be chilling in the French Riviera.
Exactly. You have your open sandals in, chilling.
I can't wait.
I know, it's going to be fun. And we'll talk about a lot of the other Oscar contenders and next year's awards contenders when we do our annual award season, our Oscar telecast, our Oscar preview show, which we do every single Friday before the telecast. So that's one of the next times we'll have you on, Jason. I'm hoping maybe we can get you on for the SAG Awards. We'd love to have you on as always. And just to kind of talk about everything. We talked about WandaVision last week, so maybe we'll have you on for Falcon and the Winter Soldier to talk about that and a lot of other stuff that's going on.
You'll see me again.
Oh, we'll see you again. Absolutely. We can't get rid of that amazing face, Jason. We can't. It's made for television. It's made for the
Sam Bussell Podcast.
Always. Absolutely. But once again, Jason, Abdow, it's always great to have you on the Sam Bussell Podcast. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking about the Oscars. We're a month and a half or a little over a month and a half away until the 93rd Annual Academy Awards on ABC. A lot to look forward to. So, Jason, once again, thank you for coming on, and we hope to have you on soon, man.
Always good to be here, Sam. Thank you.
All right, no, of course. Thank you, buddy.